Hello.
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 Hello. Hello.
Yeah, good.
Good.
Amazing.
Bit of a delay. There's a little bit of a delay going on this morning, but hopefully we'll get over that in a minute.
Hopefully everything will catch up. We all just need to settle into the moment, I think. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the 5th episode now of Perfect Pair, which is the webinar series that Caroline and I co-host. We bring together fractional experts and their favorite pieces of software to talk about how you can get the most out of your software investments in a growing company. We're very excited to have Kat with us today. So we'll do some brief intros and then we're going to dive into learning more about Kat's favorite software tool to put into a growing company and how to get the most out of it. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Millie. My company is called Pay to Go COO, which is at its core fractional COO and business coaching services. So I work with early to mid-stage companies on their strategy and operations. Basically, I help you get shit done is how I like to describe it. Caroline is a wonderful co-host of the webinar.
Yeah, so thanks, Millie. So I'm a fractional CMO, so I work with small business and startups on developing your marketing strategy and then implementing your marketing strategy in a simple way that makes sense, like not overcomplicating it, just what do you need, and then we just get it done. So I also get shit done in the marketing world. So together, I would say Millie and I would make a pretty good pair. Not the perfect pair, in this sense, it's the software, but together, I think teaming marketing with operations together will really take your business forward. So yeah, that's where we are. I'm just going to let the dog back in because he, carry on, Kat, because he's loitering outside. Get in, come on.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on software, but would you like to introduce yourself to everybody first?
Yes, thank you for having me. So my name is Kat Wellum-Kent. I am the founder of Fractional Finance and one of our CFOs. And at Fractional Finance, we provide finance teams to start up and scale up businesses, principally in the tech and services sector. And we have a team all the way from kind of finance assistants at the more junior level, all the way up to fractional CFOs who can put that perfect team together to provide the SLT, the founders, the financial information they need to make better decisions, and also help support them from the strategic side to help them translate their strategy into a financial plan and help them monitor it and make sure that they're on track. So basically picking up all things finance. So we wear that hat for startups and scale-ups.
Amazing. I work always so with the finance department when I'm working with a small company, and I feel like often one of my closest allies is often the CFO, and we have a lot of side chats of, sorry, can we afford this? And so I'm very, very excited always to meet more CFOs who work with early stage companies. And so tell us, what is your favorite tool to bring into an early stage business?
So I had to ponder for quite a while, and I was thinking, so all of our clients use Xero as the accounting software. So in my head, I was like, I'll just talk about Xero. And I thought, one, that was a bit obvious. And people often know about those kind of tools. So I thought I'd talk about a different one. And the one that I'm going to talk about is something called Fathom. And the Fathom that I'm talking about is the management reporting and forecasting tool, not the Fathom note taker app, because it's confusing. There are two software called Fathom. So just to clarify, it's the finance one, not the note taker app. Although I love the note taker app too, but and I love it for lots of different reasons, and we can get into some of those. I'm sure in this conversation. But the heart of it, it's a very simple tool to use.
Fantastic. I have heard of it actually, but is it? Would you say that you can use it in one person? Is it as valuable in a 1-2 person startup as it is in a 20, 30? What's the sort of implementation point for Fathom?
So I think it could be used in a smaller business. What it's great at is producing reporting packs, tables, charts, insights in a really quick, efficient way that directly tie back to the accounting system because it pulls from that. So if you are producing a set of management accounts or looking at that kind of information and you want to combine like a basic P&L and a balance sheet with some KPIs and some charts and some other things like that, that's when Fathom's great. So it just depends what stage you want to start looking at that. I mean, I would say do it right from the get-go because all of that provides insight that helps you understand your business, even when you're a smaller stage business. It's great for things like if you're going to get funding or speaking to lenders, pulling together those packs in a professional way so you've got information to share with them is great. Speaking to investors, all of those kind of things, it's great for. Also communicating with the team, like if as you're building that team out and want to share information with them. So there's lots of different use cases. It just it depends on what you're doing already or what you think you need in a business.
Yeah what you're trying to achieve, what your objectives are. If you like you say, if you're trying to go after funding, then you're going to need to, whatever size business you are, you're going to need to prove some of that information, aren't you? So okay, sounds good.
And the other thing that, so it's got a side to it that's like the historic reporting packs and charts and all of that kind of stuff and visuals, and you can play about with that and create some really cool stuff. But the other part of it that's really useful is the forward-looking forecasting element, because building out a forecast or like a budget can be quite complicated and quite tricky, like depending on how good your Excel skills are and those kind of things. And particularly if for some lenders, you need to pull together a P&L and a cash flow statement and it all needs to tie together. That can be tricky to get right if you're doing it in-house on your own. And Fathom can do that for you. So you can put assumptions in there very simply and create like a 3-year monthly P&L balance sheet and cash flow that you could pull out and give the bank to kind of go, this is what we're going to get to in a relatively quick, easy way. So that's another part of the tool that I really, really love.
And I think it's, it's something that I see in a lot of early stage companies is a misunderstanding of the value of a strategic partnership with a CFO. I think when the thing that you're talking about here is a really interesting bridge between your management accounts, which often in a nice company is like an outsourced accountant will take care of your accounts. They'll manage your Xero or your free agent or whatever software you're using for you. But understanding the bridge between those accounts and the day-to-day metrics of your business, and understanding that this is a strategic indicator and a storytelling piece of reporting. Your management accounts and your finances aren't just something that you submit once every 3 months to the good people of HMRC's VAT team, or to your end of your year that you have to worry about. Do you find that Fathom helps you bridge that gap and helps you make the most of those reports in a way that actually is insightful?
Definitely. And I think that's a really important point that you just pulled up, Emily, because I think it's if you kind of have an outsourced finance team like your accountants that are doing those kind of things, they are brilliant at making sure that it's done correctly for HMRC, that you've got something that reconciles and makes sense. But that's not always done in a way that gives you those insights that helps you see things that enable you to make better decisions to grow the business. And that's where using a tool like Fathom, but also partnering with a more strategic CFO, will allow you to set things up in a way and pull together that information and present it in a way that really allows you to see things that you might not have been able to see otherwise. And that's the Fathom tool's great because you can pull in non-financial KPIs and present everything together. You can do charts and visuals, and sometimes, even though I'm an accountant, if I just look at a table full of numbers, I find I'm like, what I can't see what this is telling me. And I think that's one of the skills of a good fractional CFO combined with the right tool, is to help bring that story to life. So when you're looking through a management pack, and I've heard this from a lot of people, they're like, when I'm speaking to them, I'm like, oh, do you have management accounts? And they're like, yes, we get those monthly. And I'm like, okay, so what do you do with them? And they're like, well, I flick through them and then I just file them away. And you're like, okay, well, why are you paying someone to do that for you? Like, that's not giving you any value whatsoever. You want that management account pack to tell a story that makes sense with what you know about the business, but also can help you figure out, why stuff's happening, what is maybe not working as you'd like, so you can fix it, what is happening that there's an opportunity there that you could take advantage of, all those kind of things. And there's a real art to that, I think, in designing and presenting the information in a way that makes sense, pulling out the key bits of that information. Because with Xero and other apps and tools, there's so much data that is available within a business, and it's about making sure you're capturing and reporting on the right bits of data to be able to see that story, rather than just having like analysis paralysis and just seeing everything and going like, what do I do with that? I
mean, that would be, and it is my problem. I don't have management accounts. I don't necessarily. I think when you're a solo, I'm running a consulting business. It's not something that I'm using, but I would be probably the person you've just described, like get the management accounts and then just flip through them and file them away, because I don't know necessarily what it's telling me. So I think that what you said there, pairing it with you or one of your team as a fractional, is the ideal combination, right? Because that can help you make decisions that I would probably otherwise wouldn't make myself. I think that's really, I think also, maybe this is just me, but sometimes when you're starting a business, it's important to know the skills that you don't have, right? And many people, I might be talking out of turn here, don't have that financial grounding. I feel like we don't get taught that we don't learn that anywhere in our educational curriculum. And unless you then go after, going into a career that is numbers based, right, that is finance accounting based, or like Millie with operations, you don't get that grounding in it. And you might have a startup, which is something you are excellent at, but you just don't have that grounding. You've got to, for me, my first hire would be a fractional finance person, because I don't want to do it, but I know I need to know it, right? So I think that's fascinating. Do you find that when you work with people that you have to persuade them that that's what they need, or is it people that know that it's a weakness or know that it's important and that they need someone like you to come in?
I think a lot of the clients, by the time that we start working with them, they have identified that as a problem or an area. It falls into two camps, actually. Some relatively numbers savvy, but they know that that's not either their number one strength or the bit of the business that they love, and therefore it makes sense to pass that on to someone else. Or they've kind of muddled through by kind of like gut instinct, and just the business was of a size that they could feel financially what was happening, with a higher or lower degree of accuracy, it turns out. But they had that kind of gut instinct. But as the business grew and more it became further away from them, they lost that ability to have that confidence in the numbers, and just what that meant as they wanted to start making, I guess, some bigger, more strategic decisions. They're like, I can't decide to do that on gut instinct. Like, that's too big of a risk. I need someone in here to be sense checking it, and making sure that there is some support and financial oversight to the decisions that we're making.
I think you're very comfortable with numbers and very comfortable with finance. It's very easy to make mistakes when it's not something that you have expertise in. Like, I consider myself to be a very finance forward COO. Two of my parents were mathematicians. I run a multi-tiered personal banking system that I'm always the spreadsheets on top of spreadsheets, and I'm really happy with it. I recently got an accountant for the first time since when I first set up my business. I set it up with an accountant, and I just didn't get on with their practice. And I was like, I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to do it myself. Free agent is £40 a month. I'm going to figure it out. And my wonderful new accountant, Sarah, I feel like I've let her come into my house and look in my medicine cabinet, and I'm so ashamed. Everything is expired and the labels have gone a bit funny, and she's had to go back and look at things and say, you've really just screwed this up, to be honest with you. I've submitted things to HMRC, who I hope to God are not listening to this call, but I swear I'm sending the paperwork in soon. But it's very, very easy to make mistakes, even when you are relatively finance forward. And for me, I would think my business is probably too small to need that, because, it's just invoices being paid and some things coming through my website, like my coaching and my books, for example, sell directly through my website. I can just reconcile that myself. I can just plan my budgets for the year. Turns out no. Turns out that's not. And I think the value of a fractional strategic finance partner has really become very apparent to me in the last couple of weeks when I've let someone take a look at it.
Yeah, I think it's good to have someone else come into the business and see things, because like you said, if it's not an area that you're an expert in, then you can easily think what you're doing is fine, but it turns out it's not necessarily quite right in line with the rules, or stuff like that. And I've seen that too. I mean, I've worked with people who are even like accountants by trade, but they might have specialized in a particular bit of accountancy, and therefore they've never run their own business and done that side of it before. So they don't have that knowledge. And I think that's why, so for all of our clients that we work with, they have an accountant and they have us. And for me, that's because those two groups of people generally have two different skill sets. And the accountant skill set is great at making sure that everything's filed correctly and tax planning and all that kind of stuff. But most accountants, in my experience, are not kind of commercially and strategically focused. They love the tax and that side of things. I hate the tax. Like, I'm not the person to speak to about tax planning. It just has never really excited me. I know enough to get by, or to go, I think this could be an issue, or we need to think about it. But the thing that really excites me is figuring out from the numbers what we can unlock, how we can drive more value from the business, and how the systems and the processes can be set up to allow you to get that information really simply, and to then feed that into your decision-making process and your operations and all of those kind of things to make better decisions. And that feeds into operations, it feeds into marketing. So quite a lot of, like, in our packs, there's quite a lot of like marketing KPIs that you have in there, because that's a key part to achieve any growth that they want, to understand like the leads, where are they coming from, how are they converting, like the sales pipeline, all of those kind of things in my head fit within finance. Because if you haven't got that and understood that and your different marketing channels and what the customer acquisition costs and all those kind of things are, then you're not going to be able to make the right strategic decisions about where you should invest money, and are you on track to get the sales you want based on what's on your pipeline and how long it takes to convert, and all of those kind of all of those kind of bits. That's the area of finance that I love, not the kind of accountants, like typical accountant stuff.
Yeah. And I think from your perspective, or as I see it, as someone that sits in marketing, I feel like a CFO can sit there as sort of, I'm going to say channel agnostic, but function agnostic, right? It's not in your interest to be, if you've got a CMO sitting there going, oh, well, we need to do this. It might be because, I'm not saying it is, but you've got your function always in mind. Whereas as a finance person, you're sitting there and looking at everything with a really kind of independent view, right? Going, sorry if you could hear that bang, that is my tilers going in and out of the house.
I think they might have just broken some tiles.
I mean, they're literally just like banging every door they can do. Anyway, get back to what I was saying. God, you can tell it's just chaos at Caroline's house today. I'll maybe show everybody the outcome of said tiling. Yeah, I will. Yeah. But you can look at it from a completely holistic and independent view, can't you? Whereas, as I said, like you've got the sales, you might have the CRO or the CMO or, other person sitting there going, oh no, we're the most important people. We're the most important people, right? The numbers don't lie, right? Ever. And so you can go, well, actually, no, CMO, you're not doing as good a job as you think you are. So, that's why I think it's such a pivotal role. Do you get into arguments with anybody as a result of it?
I mean, I haven't yet. I think I would say I'm a relatively not that I avoid confrontation, but I try and
a de-escalation.
Yeah. I have had one client who said that I don't think his wife's a fan of me because I keep on telling him he can't spend money on certain things. or like she's asked for something and he's been like, oh, I just got to see run that past Kat, see if I can do that.
That's hilarious.
But no, I agree, we don't really have an agenda per se or something to push, and therefore I think for founders, particularly like if they're solo founders, it's a really good kind of support an independent person who can like ask questions or give their insight to things across a broad range of topics. So I can often get involved in things that or give my thoughts on things that aren't purely within finance, but because like you said, everything kind of impacts the numbers. I can kind of say, actually, this is my view. And with the fractional model, we are working with so many different clients. And in my business, at the moment, there's me and 2 other fractional CFOs. So you've kind of got 3 different CFO brains, we're each working with a number of different businesses. So we can share and get ideas and get insight and things. And we can kind of say, actually, we see this happening, or I've seen something similar in another organization, or when they were looking at this, they were talking about this as a potential consideration, or bring that kind of added insight from other businesses, obviously being very confidential, but you know what I mean? Like you see and pick up on things across all the different parts of the business that can add value, I think, as well to this kind of SLT conversations that will be happening.
And so thinking about how Fathom as a piece of software can help support that mission that you've got to really increase the growth of an organization by seeing all of the numbers and seeing what's going on in there. If I was thinking about, or if anyone in the audience is thinking about bringing in a tool like this alongside a fractional CFO, how do you get started? I've never used Fathom as a finance tool. Like, how does it work? What do you need to do? What needs to be prepared in advance?
It is super easy to set up. So you basically subscribe, link it up with your Xero account or your QuickBooks account of Free Agent, or if you're not on a software, you can pull in information with spreadsheets. So that pulls in all your historic information. Then I think that the key things to do are to think about how you want to report and show your information. So we do quite a lot of fiddling about. That's the technical term, fiddling about.
Our technical term is getting done, so I think.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
We know that means, we know that the fiddling about means hours and hours and years of experience, by the way.
Yeah. So we fiddle about with like the structure of the P&L and the balance sheet to make sure that we're reporting stuff in a way that kind of makes sense. We do quite a lot of work around getting the right KPIs being reported on, and that's one of the great features of Fathom is you can have KPIs that are driven from the financial information. So like gross profit margin, as an example, it will just calculate that based on the numbers that are in there. Or you can bring in like non-financial KPIs, and then you can mix the two up. So you could have like number of clients as like a non-financial KPI, and then you could then go, okay, what's my average revenue per client, and you're like revenue, and mix the two up. So we figure out what are the KPIs that they should be tracking, and that is where I think it's easy to go wrong, because you can get excited and get like all of the KPIs, and what we like to do is kind of work through a process to figure out where do you want to get to, what are the key drivers to enable that to happen, and how does that translate into KPIs that can track whether you're going in the right direction with each of those things. And my other top tip with KPIs is getting a mixture between like lag metrics, i.e. how much revenue you've got, and lead metrics, like say pipeline or number of proposal sent out or number of discovery calls, those kind of things. So you can kind of see historic and lead and lag. So that's a big bit of doing the KPIs, and then having a bit of a play of for the people that are going to be looking at the numbers, how are they best going to understand and interpret them, and what's the flow to that pack? So is it tables? Are they numbers, like people who want to see the actual detail of the numbers, or are they visuals and want to see like trend graphs and those kind of things? So pull together those templates, and then once you've done those three things, if what we're trying to do is come together with some historic some management reporting that looks backwards, if you've done those three things, then each month, once your accounting system's up to date, you've got your pack ready to go. Like, you don't have to worry about pulling it out and playing about with it and manipulating it and adding it in and blah 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 blah, and then a number's changed, I've got to update it and do it again. Like, it syncs and does all of those things. So once you've got those things set up, each month or each quarter as you're doing them, you'll be able to have that pack, and you can have lots of different templates. So what a number of our clients do is they've got like they have a size where they've got teams as well. So they might have a pack that they focus and talk about at the SLT meetings, and then they've got another pack that they share with the employees. So you kind of don't want to share all the information with them. And then they might have a third pack, which is what they send out to investors, like if they've got an investment, kind of a pool of investors in the business. So that would be my process for getting it set up, and then playing about with it, because once you've got it set up, I found that when you're looking through, because the whole purpose of these things is to look through the pack and it drive an action. So if you're looking through the packs and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do because I don't have this bit of information, you're like, okay, maybe that's something you should be putting in there. Or if there's a table or a bit of analysis that you always flick over because you're like, oh, that's not interesting, you're like, okay, right, take it out. So you can evolve it as you're using it, because you get a feel for what you need and what you don't need. So that would be my suggestions. And you can't really break it as well, so you can just play. I mean, I like that's like with spreadsheets, it's really easy to do something and you're like, oh, I've bugged it up now, like where is it going wrong? You can't do that, in fact, because it's a software and a tool and it's all integrated. You can't break it. So you can just play about with all different tables and analysis and slice and dice it in different ways. So yeah, I think that's great. I've said lots of good things about it. I think it's worthwhile just highlighting some areas where it might not be right for you, it might not work. If you want, because a number of our clients, they'll have like weekly dashboards or want to have like weekly KPIs to get a sense of how things are going. Fathom's not the tool for that. So Fathom is great for monthly, quarterly, annual, those kind of reports. If you wanted something weekly, then yeah, you would need to be tracking those KPIs in a different tool or on Excel or in HubSpot or whatever it is. Fathom is great as like a monthly tool. So I'd say that's something to bear in mind.
And so if I'm hearing the pros, I'm really liking the sound of having 3 different packs without having to create 3 different packs. And eventually it can allow you to really easily slice the data for your senior leadership and then your internal team and then also your investors without you having to go and do 3 entire sets of reports. You just, I'm assuming, push a button and Fathom can generate those different levels of information.
That's the thing, yeah. You set up the templates and then you kind of are going in there at month end when all the numbers are done, and you just make sure it's synced up by pressing a button, and then you're like, yeah, those numbers are all, it's all good to go. Without having to do any faffing about. And because what I find is particularly when businesses are growing, they might not have the most robust like month end close processes. So numbers change like each month. You've reported on August, but then something happens. So then actually, the August numbers move a bit in the September numbers. Do you get what I mean? And if you're pulling that information out and doing it in a PowerPoint or in an Excel, it won't catch up. It won't know that you've changed and moved things. Whereas because Fathom is linked back to your accounting system, if you're making those changes, that flows through as well. So like your year-to-date figures are always going to be right rather than adding up your previous reported figures and you're like, oh, right, I'm 10K out and I don't quite know why. And then you're like, oh, it's because didn't we do that thing where there was a bad debt and we blah, 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 blah. So it just means that the numbers are always in sync, which is good when, the close processes aren't necessarily as strict as in larger organizations.
So interesting. This is the benefit and the problem of this webinar series is that every time I'm like, oh, I have to go and get those tools. When we spoke to Tom about compliance, it's like, well, now I have to transition all of my note taking to Notion because that just has to be what I do. And then now Ginny in our last call, she gave us 4 different applicant tracking systems. I was like, well, I have to research all of these. Now I want Fathom. I don't think I need any more data in my business because I'm a data obsessive and I pull a lot of numbers and I really look into everything. But now I want Fathom. I don't know, Caroline, how do you feel? Because I'm obviously I love finance and I love numbers. You're like a little bit less of a nerd than me.
I mean, we couldn't get 2 more opposite people when it comes to numbers. I mean, I hate them with a passion, but as a marketer, you have to get more comfortable with them these days because it is about metrics and stuff, right? You can't just like ignore them. So, I mean, I really like the sound. What for me as a non-numbers person, I would say, if I was at the point where I needed to, produce these kind of reports for senior leadership team or whatever, to me that would be a no-brainer. Like have a tool like Fathom, like Kat's describing, and also a no-brainer to have someone set it up for me, because I always look at it in a way of cost, not what's the physical cost, like the dollars, the pounds cost to me. A lot of yes, of course, you've got to have the cash flow, right? You've got to have the physical amount of money to pay for the tool and the physical amount of money to pay Kat to come and set it up for me on an ongoing basis. But what's the opportunity cost I'm missing out on by me spending hours upon hours of trying to figure it out myself and hours of getting it wrong, and missing out on the data that it's telling me? And when I talk to clients or prospective clients, and they sometimes say to me, "Oh, I can't really, I think I'm going to do it myself. I can't afford to have someone do it for me." And I always say to them, "Well, you either pay in time or you pay in money, and that's the same of everything, right?" So, and to me, I'd much rather pay in money for someone's time to do it right for me and give me the insight, because I'm not going to find that insight myself. I know I'm not. So I'm quite keen. I'm thinking Kat might find some stuff in my business like probably be thoroughly depressing, to be honest. But yeah, to me it's a no-brainer. I would be like, on it, absolutely, 100%, and have someone do it for me, because I would never do it myself. I would find every reason, a bit like I have for the gym, every reason not to.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with a client yesterday about exactly that, and I think we were saying that what sometimes happens is people either try and do it themselves and then it doesn't work, and they're like, okay, well, that doesn't work for me, or they try and be like, well, I don't really have the money or the time to do it, so I'm going to do it on the cheap, whether that's time or money. And again, they're like, oh, well, then it doesn't work for me. And actually, you're not properly testing to see whether that thing does drive value and does help your business, because you're not giving it what it needs. So you either need to commit to it and give it a go for a period of time and then assess, or it's better to not bother at all. I think with some of these things, if you go a little way, say for example, like if you're if I go back to the Fathom example, I've had clients that have already put Fathom in and they're like, okay, we use Fathom, and they're like, yeah, I don't really like it though. And that's because when I go in and have a look at it, they've got like a template pack that's got like 100 pages, or not, like 10 pages. It's not been tailored to them, and therefore it's not giving them any insight. So they're like, that's not right for us. I'm like, you're paying what, like £35 a month subscription, which isn't like a huge amount of money, but it's still money. And they're not getting any value from it. Whereas if they brought us in to help with them, obviously that costs a lot more than £35 a month, but it then makes that tool valuable, and hopefully those combined things allow them to use their time and money better in the business to drive value. And whenever it's similar to probably what you do, Caroline, when I'm talking to clients or potential clients, it's all about, like, I don't talk about it as a cost with us, like it's an investment, and all these things. You should feel like there is a return on investment, and it's harder in finance than if, I don't know, like Google ad spend or whatever, because you can see, hopefully made more directly, the link between the two of sales coming in. But you should be able to assess, like, okay, what are the goals? What do I want to achieve with investing in a fractional finance team, and what return do I expect to get? And then do an experiment, see if that works. And you're like, okay, great, it is awesome, or no, it's not. Okay, that experiment failed. And
I think a lot of the time, I think the problem that we've got now is there's so many different softwares available for everything, and all of the softwares sell themselves on, you can do it yourself. It's easy to do, right? It's easy to implement. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? It's like, I mean, I don't actually use Xero anymore. I recently moved to a different accountant where they have their they have an online system, but it's a more their own system, right? Which is fine for me. But I never used the functionality of Xero. I mean, I quite liked it, like how you run your business, but I never used the full functionality because I didn't understand most of it, or why I even needed to look at it. It's a bookkeeping package, and I know Xero is much more, really, isn't it, for accountants? It is more for professionals to manage your accounts. But I think that we've got to this point where people believe they don't need experience or don't need professionals who know what they're doing in a sector because there's a software available, right? And that's just not true, right? That's why you've had years of experience. That's why Millie's got years of experience, because we know what we're doing. And I think it's balancing that need for a £50 a month tool with an investment in a professional service to help you get it right first time, and then you can move forward with it. And I think, and everyone will probably say, well, you would advocate that because that's what you do. But yes, but it's pointless doing it otherwise, right? You might as well not do it at all if you're not going to do it properly.
But I think the fact you're advocating for that in marketing, advocating for that in finance, and given any opportunity to open my mouth, I'm advocating for that in operations via Asana. Like, I have so many people that, so when I say to them, what's your project management system? And they say, oh, we've tried them all, they just don't work for us. I'm like, it's because you're not working with them. They only work for you. It's like, to your gym analogy, you have a gym membership just because you're paying for the gym membership. The fact that you're not showing up every day and using the equipment there, that you're not getting what you wanted out of that gym membership. The fact that you have an Asana subscription is not enough to make you good at managing projects. The fact that you have a piece of finance software, a piece of marketing software, doesn't mean that you're doing what you need to do in those departments. And it becomes a false economy to think, as you say.
Yeah.
And I'm relentless, as I said, try to do all my accounts myself. Failed spectacularly. So embarrassed. I read an email this morning from my wonderful accountant. I'm like, I want to die. This is so embarrassing.
It's probably the sort of email I get on a regular basis. So don't worry.
Deep cut to my soul.
I know, but it's hurting you to your core, isn't it, Millie?
But I feel like, with the I built my own website. I really should have worked with somebody else, but I just couldn't. I couldn't find the way to find the right person to work with me or the right software. And I think, that for me is the difference between sometimes a freelance, more junior person and a freelance, someone who's got a C in front of their title. We've gone through all those different pieces of software. We figured out the ones that do and don't work and the good and the bad about those different things. And, you can help understand someone's goal. I'm not interested in just selling my time for the sake of it. I actually want you to have these results. And I'm passionate about this because this is why this works. And I see from what you're saying about Fathom, Kat, a lot of that in you of like, no, this is a good thing and this can actually be great for you. It's not just that we're trying to get money out of you.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think I completely agree with what you just said there, Millie. Like, I don't want to just turn up and do some work on some things for a few hours and get paid for it. Like, if I'm not driving things forward or feel like I'm adding value, like, I get frustrated. So if there was a tool that could do what I could do, like, I would tell you to get the tool, because I don't want to be recreating like what a software does, because that is ultimately just really boring for me. I want to be trying to drive it forward. And I think that's what any fractional, like, we're a shortcut because we have been through it and seen it in loads of different companies. So we've seen loads of the mistakes that have been made and we can get there quicker. That's why, like, I mean, I've got a business mentor. Lots of people I know have mentors and support, because exactly that, I can go to her and go, oh, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you reckon? And she'll tell me like the 10 times or more than that, where she knows people who have done the exact same thing that I've done. And she's like, watch out for this, watch out for that. And I'm like, right, okay, perfect. That's 10 mistakes I've avoided that would have made this relatively simple thing maybe 6 months longer to get to where I want to be. And it's that's what you're paying for, and that's what a software can't provide. And that's why the combination of the two, I think, is really important.
Yeah. Agree. I'm so enjoying this conversation, and I could absolutely continue talking about finance software and tools until the end of time, but I'm really sad that we've got about a minute or so left, I think, of the call slot. And I wanted to make sure, we're always really keen at the end of the sessions to make sure that, if anyone in the audience has questions of how they can work with you or anything about what fractional finance does or how to go about implementing a tool like Fathom, how can people get in touch with you, and what sort of things do you work on for them?
So I'm mainly on Hangout on LinkedIn. Like, we've got a website and things, but yeah, LinkedIn is the place where I spend quite a bit of my time. And we work with clients in different ways. So sometimes we'll go in and like do like a health check or an assessment to kind of help figure out what needs to get done and then build from there. Sometimes clients are really clear on what they need and we can build like a package right from the start. But I think what's really important with when I was setting this up, how I wanted to work, is that all of our clients, we work on like a rolling monthly retainer, because I want to make sure that what we're doing is adding value and helping, and that they are seeing that too. And if at any point it's not, like, please, if we can't fix it, like, turn it off, because I want to feel like I'm adding value. I want them to feel like they are too. So all of our clients we work with on a 1 month rolling retainer, and it's a real mixture of clients. Like, we have some clients where we do relatively light touch, like almost on a quarterly basis, all the way through to, we've got some clients where we spend like 2 days a week with them. So we can fit anywhere in between. The key thing for us is we want to work with ambitious businesses that are trying to get somewhere, because that's where we can actually add the most value.
Yeah, sounds great.
Well, we are out of time, very, very, very sadly. So when we share the recording of this session, we will make sure that we include information on how to get in touch with Kat. But in the meantime, we wish everyone a wonderful rest of the week. And the final episode, Caroline, the final episode of this 6-episode series is coming out in 2 weeks, where did the summer go? How is it?
I don't know. I was saying that to someone the other day, like in March, January, February, March seemed to take forever. And now all of a sudden we're nearly in October. And I'm like, what?
It's very confusing.
Crazy.
But we'll look forward to seeing everyone in the next couple of weeks. And then, please get in touch with Kat if you have any questions. And we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Cool.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.